May the Spirit of the Lord bless you all. A very good morning. I would like to show you today the story of Louise, that she suffered with insomnia for 9 years. She had nightmares. And when I was watching her testimony before we start this program, I was thinking about the situation of many people, that many times the year change, the calendar change, but they are still carrying the same burdens of the last year or even from the previous years, like the case of Miss Louise. And you know that for God nothing is impossible. You are there on this beginning of the year of 2022 and you say to yourself, the year changed, but my life is in the same way. But I'm telling you that you are not watching us by coincidence, but God has a plan to change your life, because the life of Louise changed when she used her faith, and the same way your life will change as well. That's why I would like to invite you, for you to stop everything that you are doing right now for a minute, watch her testimony, watch what God did in her life, watch the attitude of faith that she had, and surely that you're going to learn a lot from this testimony and you can put into practice in your life. This is your program, New Chance.
One issue that I used to really have was problems sleeping at night. For about 9 years straight, I would literally be having the same nightmare on and off, on and off. And it was a very weird but almost realistic nightmare. So it was like the area I would live in would morph into something different. And then I would end up being chased by black figures, like just running through my area. I would recognize like key spots of, where I lived in this nightmare. And so what would happen, for me to get to sleep, I would be rocking myself back and forth like my head, just so it would rock me to sleep. I couldn't sleep without music and the television on. So for me, it took me a very long time, and then before I knew it, I wouldn't know what time it is and I have to wake up and I'm going to school. And this would happen for on and off 9 years. And for me, it was very difficult because it got to a point where I was so scared to walk through my area. And there was a particular part of this area where in the dream, I would literally be faced with this big black figure and it would chase me all the way back home. So because of this part of the nightmare, I wouldn't be able to go to this particular area in my own area. I wouldn't be able to go through that place. I would take another route, the long way round, just so that I wouldn't go to that area. Even in the dream, it felt so real. It's like I could almost touch myself and feel like, but I would wake up and I would know that, oh, it was just a dream. And it would always end the same way. So for me, it was like, if it's almost kind of repetitive, it must be real. And there was even cases where I would sleepwalk. So I would go to the bathroom, I would turn the tap on, I would knock down the bike in the corridor, I would do many things, but be fully unconscious of what I'm doing. All these things I only knew because my mum would witness me doing it, or she would wake up and she would see that the bathroom had been run. Once, me and my mum, we went on holiday, and we obviously had to share the same bed. And I ended up beating her up in my sleep. So she woke up with scratches all over her. And she was like, Louise, you just attacked me at night. And I was like, but I didn't know. I felt so guilty inside of me. I was like, I would never want to hurt my mum, even though we didn't really have a good relationship the way that I wanted it at that time. I never dreamt of even hurting her. So when I saw that, I felt like a monster. But even though it wasn't me, I just felt like a monster. And even at times I would have dreams of like pushing my mum down the stairs. It was terrible. So for me, it was like, I didn't want to sleep. So when I went to university, things got worse because, late night partying and you're up all night or you're studying. So you become restless. And for me, the only time I could sleep was during the day. I couldn't sleep at night. I couldn't. I'd be up maybe till 6 o'clock, knowing that I had lectures, but I couldn't sleep. And it got to a point where once I was so tired that I completely passed out during the day. I missed my lectures, I missed everything, I was gone. To a point where people were so worried they had to break into my room. And they broke into my room and I was still sleeping. And then they woke me up. They were like, Louise, like, where have you been? And I was just like, I've just been sleeping. And for me, that was really one of the worst moments for me, because it was like anyone could have just come into my room and attacked me. I was so vulnerable. I didn't even know what to think. Thank goodness it was, you know, people who were actually kind of looking after me in a sense. So, but for me, that was one of the worst moments, and that attacking my mum at night, because again, I never would have intentionally ever wanted to harm her. But when I saw those cuts, it even hurt me personally, it did. There was nothing to tell me, oh, this is not right, this is not normal. It was just normality to me. It's only when I came to the church, I was coming to the Friday meetings, where I understood that, okay, these nightmares, these things that I'm doing in my sleep, it's not me. And I started to understand the roots behind it. And it's funny because even as I started attending the Friday meetings, I had these nightmares again. They came up. But the funny thing is, I remember the very last time I had this nightmare, because I remember I went that night just so kind of angry that all these years I had been experiencing it, and I finally understood what was behind it. So I remember doing like a very strong prayer on me, saying, it's not gonna be no more. But that night I had the nightmare, but it ended differently, because usually in the nightmare, I would run to my house, I would be like dodging all these dark figures, but I would run to my house and the door would not close properly. It wouldn't close. So it was a thing where it was like, I would close the door behind me, but you could see outside. It was very strange. But this very last nightmare, I'll never forget, the door closed. And for me, it was like I woke up believing that I had been set free. I knew that that was the last time I was gonna have that nightmare, and I didn't have it again. I didn't have it again. So from then, I started to have more peaceful sleeps. I didn't have to rock myself. Even now, I'm at a point where if the light is on, I'm like, turn it off. Like, trust it doesn't take long for me to sleep at all. I sleep peacefully and probably sleep too much sometimes, but honestly, I don't have no more nightmares. I don't sleepwalk. I don't attack people in my sleep. I'm not scared to go through that area. I'm free, so yeah.
We are living, my dear friend, in the decade of strength. Decade of strength. 2022 as 2020 and 21 and 22, as I said, the decade of strength. And strength is through decisions that you make. Because you are stronger when, for example, you are there depressed, you are there thinking to give up, but you decide to stand up from wherever you are. You decide to lift up your head and say, you know, I'm going to fight for my dreams. I'm going to fight for my future. And you know, my dear friend, this strength comes from the Holy Spirit. You see that Louise, she was suffering for 9 years. The same problem year after year, like you are. Let me tell you something. Maybe you are there year after year, suffering with the same problem, suffering with the same situation. You are desperate. You don't know what to do. You have been giving one step forward, but when you think that your life is going to be better, suddenly something happens and your life goes backwards. You don't know what to do. Lift up your head. You know, decide to fight. This year can be your year. And I'm not here to promote to you a religious. I'm here to promote to you a faith. Because what transforms the life of Louise was her faith. Like the Bible says, like Jesus said many times in the Bible, to the paralyzed, to the blind, your faith has saved you. In other words, what transforms your life is your faith. And also doesn't matter your religious, doesn't matter your background, doesn't matter if you are poor, if you are rich. If you use this faith, and this faith is through attitudes of strength, your life will change. And the first attitude is to stand up from wherever you are and to live from where you are and join us. Because in the Universal Church, we are here, a team of faith, to fight your fight. Yes, we want to we want to join you in this fight for you to overcome. You are depressed, you are with suicidal thoughts, you are with your family destroyed, you are alone. Sometimes you think like this, I am alone, nobody cares about me. No, God cares about you. That's why you are watching us. because God cares about you. What you need to do is to stand up from wherever you are and to join us. If you want more information about the Universal Church, you can visit our website, www.uckg.se. Here in Sweden, we have 3 places where you can meet us. We have our headquarters in Stockholm, where we are open every day, where we have daily services at the Birger Jarlsgatan 106. Birger Jarlsgatan 106, very close to the Tekniska Högskolan, also Oldenplan, very easy to find. Birger Jarlsgatan 106. You can join us, for example, tomorrow, Wednesday, where we have the School of Faith, or you can join us on Friday, where we have the service of deliverance. You can call us, you can text us, you can come. You don't need to come to the service, you can pass by. You can send an email, you can call us to make an appointment, to talk to someone, and we'll be here ready to speak to you. If you are watching me from Gothenburg, in Gothenburg we are there every Saturday. We have our church established there, but we are there every Saturday. We leave Stockholm every Saturday to go to Gothenburg, and we are there every Saturday morning, ready to help you. Our address is in Gothenburg is Ringögatan 13. Ringögatan 13. Infart 7. When you come out on the Infart 7, on the left side, you're going to see the Universal Church. I'm there Saturday, 11 o'clock in the morning, also at 12:30 especially. That is the times of our services. But you can also call us and book a time to speak with us. If you are watching me from Malmö, every month we have a prayer there. And on the 15th of January, we're going to have our prayer in Malmö at 1 o'clock. And you can call us for more information. Okay, my dear friend, if you are watching me in a board, in other place, in our website, you can find the closest Universal Church near you. Decide to change your life. Decide to end your problem. Decide that this year will be your year. It was a pleasure to be with you. May God bless all of you, and until next time. Bye-bye.
This program is brought to you by UCKG.